Welcome back, everybody, to the Metropolis Bulldogs Teambuilder Dynasty here on NCAA Football 14. Today we kick off season number 2 of the series as our Bulldogs are going to start out at home in front of a packed crowd against the Washington State Cougars. Metropolis is coming off their inaugural season in program history, going 3-9 and exceeding expectations. The team has gone up from a 61 overall to a 68. That's a pretty big increase, led by a very talented freshman class, whom we're going to talk about in just a moment. Of course, the Bulldogs are also now in an actual conference. After being in the Independents a year ago, the Bulldogs have moved to the American Athletic Conference, with teams like BYU, Houston, and UCF going to the Big 12. That left room for teams like Metropolis, along with their rival Capital College, and some other Conference USA teams. As we look at the schedule here, it should be a very fun season. We've got a lot of fun storylines with this team. As I said, loaded freshman class. We have a number of players on both sides of the ball who will be true freshman starters, but the big storyline to watch out for is the quarterback battle. True freshmen Jonathan Roberts and Manuel Castillo will look to battle it out for the starting job. Today, Jonathan Roberts will play the first half, Manuel Castillo will play the second half, and this QB battle will go for as many games as we need it to until we find a clear winner. Washington State's a good team. They're certainly the favorite here against us, led by junior quarterback Jaden DeLaura. Washington State's not some premier program, but they're always competitive in the Pac-12 and are not going to make it easy here on Metropolis. Again, a game that Washington State is coming in expecting to win. So we'll see if our Bulldogs can get some early season magic and pull off the upset here in front of nearly a fully sold out crowd. Clearly the fans have believed in the vision that this team is coming to, and we'll see if it can start to come to fruition today. Welcome to Metropolis Field here in the nation's capital as we kick off season number 2 of the Metropolis Bulldogs Teambuilder Dynasty. And the Bulldogs are set to take on Washington State, who chooses heads and actually wins a toss, even though tails normally never fails. The Cougars will choose to start on defense, which means Metropolis will start on offense, something they don't normally do. This ball is teed off and we are underway. Season 2 of the Metropolis Bulldogs Dynasty is here. It'll be picked up by the new starting running back, Victor Adams, with a nice cut. Adams passed for 30 with a good game. Victor Adams is a JUCO junior, one of the highest rated players on the team, looking to make an early impact. Let's take a look at the offense featuring Jonathan Roberts, the new quarterback, or I guess one of the new quarterbacks as he connects with true freshman wideout Osiris Young for a gain of 30. Young was the highest ranked recruit who Metropolis got in their initial season. He ended up being a 4-star, the only 4-star in Metropolis' inaugural recruiting class. And you can tell Osiris Young is clearly a man amongst boys compared to everybody else here as he gets 31. Quick start for Jonathan Roberts and Osiris Young. These two definitely look in sync to start this matchup up as Metropolis has it at about the 5-yard line. They're having some trouble punching it in, however, as it's 3rd and goal. Roberts goes short and it's caught. Guess who it is? Osiris Young, the true freshman, with the touchdown, and the freshman connection will put Metropolis on the board. The first career touchdowns for both Osiris Young and Jonathan Roberts. I don't normally take a look at studio updates, but I want to talk about this game. Houston beating UTSA by 3. Of course, Houston left the American Athletic Conference. UTSA just joined it. So it's good to see UTSA competitive with them. And speaking of our conference, look at Temple upsetting Penn State in Happy Valley. Major surprise there. So Temple pulls off a big upset. That's the same Temple team we beat 31-0 last year. So now the Cougars have it on 2nd and 4. It's a screen from a running back, Watson, with a nice play. That's Nakia Watson for a gain of 12. One of the key playmakers on this Washington State offense, who has plenty of talent here on this side of the ball. Metropolis was, of course, led by their defense last year. We'll see if the defensive side of the ball can continue to play well as DeLaura's pass on 3rd down is broken up by the senior safety, Tavion Lewis. So that'll force a punt. I know it's early, but the Bulldogs look damn good so far on both sides of the ball. 3rd and 5, Roberts on the run, incomplete. He tried to get it to Osiris Young, but it's broken up. That'll force a punt, and now Washington State has the footballs. It's a handoff for Watson. Watson with a nice play, dragging Hassan Antonio with him. A gain of 19 for Nakia Watson, the second half of that play with a full human on top of him. Now it's a 3rd and 6 here for Wazoo as it's a short pass for an open man. It's Hobart who brings it within the 20. A gain of 19 yards there for Joey Hobart, who was completely wide open. Good blocking there as well by Washington State. Just a perfectly executed screen pattern. And now the Cougars are marching on the doorstep, and they got to punch it in here on 3rd and goal. Jaden Delara looks like he's going to keep it himself on the option, and it's a touchdown for Washington State. And this game is tied at 7. A nice move there by Jaden Delara to put the Cougars on the board here late in the first quarter. So Washington State needed to answer, and that they do as we go to the following kickoff, received by the true freshman, Donovan Barrington. Barrington has blocks. Look at this young man's explosiveness as he jukes out of bounds. The offense really lacked explosiveness last season, so having guys like Victor Adams, Osiris Young, and as seen on that play, Donovan Barrington, that should certainly bring some new opportunities here on this side of the ball. A gain of 12 there from a freshman, Osiris Young, who's damn near 100 yards at this point. As we conclude the first quarter, it's been a pretty good start. Washington State 7, Metropolis 7. So far, the Bulldogs don't look terrible on both sides of the football, and I know it's early. Washington State could very well pick up the mop here the rest of the way, but the Bulldogs look like a competent college football team. First play of the second quarter. It's a 2nd and 5. Jonathan Roberts scrambling with it to the left side. Roberts has an open man. It's Osiris Young. Young with blocks into the open space. It's a touchdown. A 42-yarder for Osiris Young, who has all 5 receptions for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. This quarterback to receiver duo looks in sync right now. And keep in mind, they are both true freshmen. Remarkable stuff as it's now 14-7. Washington State starting to make some action happen as Dejan's dribbling gets 35 on the reception. He burnt the true freshman cornerback, Brian McGrew. On first down, Delara keeps it himself and is stuffed up in the backfield for a loss of 3 by the junior, Jonathan Savage. So a good play there for the Metropolis defense as we now have the 3rd and 13. Delara has his man and it's dropped. There were 2 wide open Washington State players in the area, but they both went for the ball. A bad play there for the Cougars, and because of that, they have to go for it on 4th and 13. Odd play call here as Jaden Delara is under a lot of pressure, and it is incomplete. So that 3rd down mishap by Washington State proves to bite them in the butt as they're unable to score, and now the offense has it back. Handoff for the true freshman, Donovan Barrington, who gets about 10. So far, the Bulldogs have not gotten a whole lot going on the ground. The offensive line looks pretty bad, just like last year. But again, good to see some glimpses of explosiveness, particularly from the freshman, Donovan Barrington. Jonathan Roberts here scrambling. He gets it to an open man. It's Victor Adams who brings it to about the 30. That is the first passing attempt targeted to somebody other than Osiris Young. That's pretty wild. I thought Young was going to get every target the entire game. The Bulldogs are moving the ball down the field pretty nicely. Roberts here on first down, scrambling, hit as he throws, and he gets it to speak of the devil, Osiris Young, who makes another play. I don't know if it's Jonathan Roberts or if it's Osiris Young. I don't know why Metropolis' offense looked so much better last year, but, I mean, these young freshmen are just clicking at the moment. 3rd and inches now. Roberts calling an audible, looking like a true veteran out there. Gets Osiris Young open in the middle of the end zone on the slant pattern. And Osiris Young here in the first half has broken a school record. 3 touchdowns here in the game. I don't think any receiver had more than 2 in a game last year. And to put things in perspective, the star of Metropolis' offense, Mekhi Diggins, last season, had 3 touchdowns all year. Young has 3 in the first half. Just remarkable stuff as it's a 14-point lead. Nice little run there by Jaden Delara. Even though Washington State is currently struggling, they do know that on paper they are the better team, and I wouldn't be surprised if they start to kick it into high gear. Delara has a wide open man again. It's Hobart. He breaks a tackle and is inside the 5. We do have a flag, but it was an awfully late flag, so I think this play is going to stand, and they're actually going to get yardage out of it. It's a roughing the passer against Percy Morales, one of the new starting defensive tackles, so that'll move him about a yard forward as head coach Isaiah Sparks tries to plead his case. Although, again, it's only the difference of like a yard. I don't know what he's really trying to plead. 1st and goal, it's Watson with the football. He goes into the end zone for a touchdown, and Washington State is back in the game as it's now 21-14. So a good drive there for the Cougars offense, but now their defense needs to pick it up, or in other words, they need to start covering Osiris Young, because obviously that has been a major problem for them so far. Jonathan Roberts going to show off his wheels out of bounds for a gain of 13. Jonathan Roberts and Manuel Castillo, the other quarterback battling to be the starter here, they both have equal arm talent, but the difference between them, in my opinion, is Jonathan Roberts can run. He's going to try to run for a first down here on 3rd and 11, and he does, putting his body on the line on that play, diving head first to keep the chains moving, but he is successful. A big first down here for Metropolis, as they only have about 25 seconds left in the half and 2 timeouts. They need to move quick, and Roberts is sacked for a loss of 10. Metropolis calls time. Ron Stone Jr. was the one who got to the quarterback, and now it's 3rd and long here for the Bulldogs, with not a lot of time. They probably need a shot deep here. Roberts scrambling to the right side, looking downfield. It's caught! Osiris Young once again for a gain of 31. Here in the first half, Young has 8 catches for 172 yards and 3 touchdowns. Is that pretty good? I'm pretty sure that's pretty good. So now with 2 seconds left, the Bulldogs are running a last-second Hail Mary, but Roberts does not get it off in time. Another sack for Ron Stone, his second of the drive. That'll do it for the first half. A damn good start for the Metropolis Bulldogs as they lead 21-14. The defenses look solid, but the offenses look great. Jonathan Roberts and Osiris Young are dealing right now. We'll see if Metropolis can hold on to their lead here in the second half and get what would be a massive upset victory to start the season off, as on 3rd and 8, Nakia Watson only gets 2. Big play there by Percy Morales. So it's a 4th and 6 here. The Washington State offense will elect to go for it. Probably the smart call here. They are sort of in no man's range, so you might as well. 5 receiver set. DeLara looking to throw it. Has a wide open man. It's Lincoln Victor for a gain of 16 yards, and so that'll move the chains. Great route by Victor. The Bulldogs did not have that side of the field covered whatsoever. A big first down conversion, and that'll make it a 3rd and 2 here for Washington State. Trying to tie the game up here on this drive as DeLara's pass for Victor is caught, but he goes out of bounds. So it's 4th and inches. Washington State probably should go for it here. They're kicking. The Cougars have been aggressive with their 4th down play calls all night today, but on 4th and inches at the 10-yard line, down by 7, and you're going to kick? The kick is good, but that's a strange call. I'd also like to point out that that kicker has a noodle leg. That kick was ugly. But nonetheless, Washington State does score, and now we get to see the new offense featuring the other freshman quarterback, Manuel Castillo. If you thought Jonathan Roberts and Osiris Young had chemistry, look out for these two, because these two have played together in high school for 4 years. They both played for Archbishop Carroll, which of course is located here in Washington, D.C. Sure enough, first play from scrimmage, it's a gain of 25 for Osiris Young, picking right where he left off with the new quarterback, as he is now at 197 yards on the day. Again, I think that's pretty good, if you ask me. Good throw there for Manuel Castillo, as it's now 3rd and 8. Castillo looking deep for the end zone for Osiris Young, and it's overthrown. He wanted to get it to his number 1 receiver, and Young had one-on-one coverage there. He could have made a play on the ball, but unfortunately the pass was way overthrown. So that'll bring out the field goal unit here on 4th and 8. The kick from the lefty, Mark Mitchell, is good, and so Metropolis is now up by 7 once again. Mark Mitchell was pretty much automatic last year, only missing 2 kicks all season. And a good start to his campaign here to put the Bulldogs back up by a touchdown. Washington State gets it back, trying to do some more damage as Nakia Watson gets a nice first down play right there. Watson hasn't gotten the ball a ton today, but when he has, he's been effective. Washington State is clearly a pass-first team. It's almost like Mike Leach never left. Now 3rd and 10 here for the Cougars, trying to get a first down conversion here. It's a handoff for Watson. Breaks the tackle from Jovanovic, but is dragged down after a gain of 8. Good play there by Jovanovic to finish him off. 4th and 2. Sure enough, the Cougars are again going to go for it. Once again, 5 receiver set here. DeLara looking to throw it. Has Holbert wide open up the middle of the field for a gain of 14. You got to cover the underneath stuff. Bad defense there by Metropolis. And now Washington State is inches away here from the end zone. Looking to punch it in and tie it. 3rd and goal. DeLara looking to throw it, and it is thrown away. So that's going to end the 3rd quarter. Metropolis is still up by 7. Both teams add a field goal in that 3rd quarter, and so it's 24-17. Washington State has a pretty big decision here to open up the 4th quarter here, as it's a 4th and goal. They could go for it, try to tie it and be ballsy, or they could take the points and try to make it a 4-point game. Well, the offense will stay on the field. They're going to go for it here on 4th and goal. On a lot of these 4th down plays, they've gone 5 wide, which is very interesting. This one, no different. DeLara goes short for Holborn, and he is stopped. A huge tackle there by the true freshman linebacker, Michael Roberson, to bring him down. Metropolis has bad starting field position, but it's worth it to get the goal line stand. 3rd and 4, handoff for Xavier Grice, and he loses a yard. You haven't seen a lot of run plays today from Metropolis because the run game has been, well, pretty bad. At no fault of these running backs, the offensive line just isn't good, just like last year. So Washington State has it back. There's Raynard Bell shrugging the defender, and Bell gets about 18 yards. I haven't called his name a lot today. He's the star playmaker on the offense, and he's been quiet. The Bulldogs have done a nice job of shutting him down, but unfortunately it's been the complimentary guys who've been really good. Here's Watson now with a stiff arm on Tavion Lewis, and is brought down at the 5 by Roberson. Washington State again has it on the goal line. They were in this scenario last possession and couldn't score, so they need to make up for that mistake, and that they do. Nakia Watson with the touchdown, and so the Washington State Cougars are going to tie the game up at 24. Big drive there for Washington State, and Metropolis has the football back here at the 4:20 mark left in regulation. Manuel Castillo scrambling with it, can't find anybody open, so he's going to take a shot deep downfield, and it's intercepted. It's Archie with the interception. He's been flying around the field today for Washington State and brings it past the 40. I can't totally fault Manuel Castillo there. Maybe he should have tried to throw it away, but he's a freshman. He's going to make that mistake until Washington State gets it back with incredible field position here, with a great opportunity to take the lead. Well, not so fast, Johnny. It's intercepted. Hassan Antonio picks off the pass. So both teams trade interceptions, and Metropolis will get the football back here with an opportunity to win the game. So with the clock sitting at just under 3 minutes to go, the Bulldogs have an interesting decision here. They could stick with Manuel Castillo, but Jonathan Roberts has shown a lot more today. Roberts gives them the best shot to win the game, and right now, the Bulldogs have to focus on trying to win the game. 2nd and 5, Roberts sacked. He fumbles it, and it's picked up by Gilbert Bernard, who's going to run for the first down. What a heads-up play by the starting center. Gilbert Bernard to pick up the Jonathan Roberts fumble and keep the drive alive. That could have been a catastrophic turnover there against the Bulldogs. So a huge first down there for Metropolis after the fumble, and now they have new life. Jonathan Roberts, play action fake for Adams, going to scramble with it. He has 2 players wide open. He gets it to Young, who pretty much ran into Tavion Smith-Gardner. A nice gain of about 12 or 13 for Young, who now is up to 10 receptions on the day for 210 yards. Under 2 minutes to go now. Roberts scrambling to the right, trying to get somebody open, or more specifically, trying to get Osiris Young open. Very high awareness from both Roberts and Young on that play. Roberts waited to make sure he was open, and Young was just able to get open despite being double covered. 3rd and 3 now. The Bulldogs are chewing clock, trying to make sure that they can take some time off as the short pass is caught by Smith-Gardner, but he goes out of bounds. So the clock stops at around 36 seconds, and that'll bring out the field goal unit. Mark Mitchell for the lead. He got it. Mark Mitchell, the marksman, will put Metropolis on top with what could be a game-winning field goal. A big drive for Jonathan Roberts and Osiris Young in the offense, and now the defense has to come up clutch. Washington State still has 3 timeouts. All they need is a field goal to tie, as Joey Hobart gets 15 yards, now sits at the 100 yards mark for the day. 18 seconds left. Washington State still with all 3 timeouts. DeLara goes short for Bell. He gets about 12, and from there, the Cougars call timeout number 1. Clock now sits at 13 seconds. Keep in mind, Washington State does not trust their kicker. He is a noodle leg. So because of that, they may need to be within like the 20-yard line to actually think about kicking a field goal. 2nd and 2, short throw again for Raynard Bell, wrapped up by Hassan Antonio for a gain of 4. Washington State calls their last timeout. So with 5 seconds left, they could go for a 50-yarder or go for the Hail Mary, and the offense stays out on the field. They don't trust their kicker, so they're going to go for the Hail Mary. This is it for the ball game. DeLara to the end zone, incomplete. And the Metropolis Bulldogs are going to win it. 27-24 is your final. and Metropolis opens up Season 2 with a record of 1-0. Wow, what a start to the season. Probably the most intense game of the series thus far, but our Bulldogs are able to pull it off against a superior Washington State team. A great start here to the new season. Let's take a look at the stats. So, in the quarterback battle, it was a tale of two stories. Jonathan Roberts was really good, Manuel Castillo was not. But you also have to keep in mind, Roberts threw 19 passes, Castillo threw 4. Castillo never really got a full shot today, which, again, isn't a big deal because this is not some one-week process in which we're going to determine the starting quarterback. To make sure Castillo gets to play 2 full quarters, he will start next week against Maryland, and then Jonathan Roberts will play the second half, and then we'll go from there. The run game was very uneventful, not at the fault of our running backs. However, our offensive line just cannot run block whatsoever. We did get to see signs of explosiveness from Adams and Barrington, but hopefully our offensive line can pick it up to give those guys some actual space. But we did get to see a lot of explosiveness from our number 1 wideout. True freshman Osiris Young had one hell of a Metropolis debut, and I guess that's putting it lightly. He ended up finishing the game with 11 catches for 233 yards and 3 touchdowns. I think this kid's going to be pretty good, if you ask me. He looks like he belongs out there. Nobody else caught more than 1 pass, which is crazy. We were practically force-feeding the ball to Osiris Young because he has great hands. He's better than anybody on this team than getting open, and he's great after the catch as well. So there's a reason we tried getting it to him. The offensive line was bad. That's just all I'm going to say about it. The defense was fine. Not a ton of pressure, though. The pass rush was pretty subpar, but I thought our coverage was good. Our run defense was fine. Overall, the defense didn't look outstanding, but certainly serviceable. Then, of course, Mark Mitchell with 2 big field goals, including the game winner. Washington State threw it 47 times. Again, it's like Mike Leach never left. Jaden DeLar was pretty solid. I think they should have given the ball more to Nakia Watson. I thought he was quite impressive for them. Victor with 10 receptions, Hobart with 100 yards, Dejon Stripling with a nice game, and then Raynard Bell was pretty good down the stretch in that fourth quarter. But their defense is kind of what let them down, particularly in the first half. They defended a lot better in the second half, I will admit, and I think overall they were probably better than us in the second half, if I'm being honest. But Osiris Young tormented them in the first half, and that's what ended up winning us the ball game. So we start the season off 1-0, our 4th ever win in program history, and a great way to start off season number 2. Next episode, I'm planning for a doubleheader. Week 2 against our rival Maryland at home once again, and then week 3 we play the number 2 ranked North Carolina Tar Heels. We played against Maryland last year. We lost by a lot, but it was our opening game, so it makes sense. We obviously weren't overly prepared, and I think we're going to be a lot more competitive today. Obviously, this Maryland roster is pretty talented, though, led by a junior quarterback, Talia Tagovailoa, the younger brother of Tua Tagovailoa of the Miami Dolphins. And then, of course, North Carolina, who is a great roster. Again, they are number 2 in the country, led by senior quarterback Sam Howell, projected to be a very high draft pick in the NFL draft. So, next episode's going to be a challenge, but going into our non-conference schedule, I was just hoping to win one of these games, and we already did. So at this point, I feel like we're playing with house money in the next episode, and if we win either of these next 2 games, that would be fantastic. So that's going to end today's episode. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out. Go Dogs.